What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're here. It's that time of year. It's that time of year. Kyle and I filming back to back to back. Go check out all the great videos we have. Thank you, Movie Meal patrons. Kimberly, Karen, go get some merch. Got some on now. It's all linked down in the description. It's great stuff. Love it. We're going to get into this quick. This might be a little bit longer video here. Top 10 movies of 2021. An interesting year, 2021. Did it feel any different than 2020? Who's to say? Maybe it's worse. We don't know at this point. But we're here.
But we got movies.
Yeah, we got some movies. Kyle and I just off camera, off air, we're talking about how some movies, it felt like a lot of lack of indie kind of movies, or they came out, but they went to streaming and maybe they got passed over than maybe some other years. Or maybe we just didn't think of them, things like that. So I know Kyle got a chance to see a few more of those, I think, than I did. So if I have a few more blockbusters, we know why. But let's just get into it. We'll go 10 down. So you will quickly say some honorable mentions. So Kyle, we'll have you start. What's your number 10? And if you have any honorable mentions, go ahead and toss those bad boys out.
Yeah, so let me start with the honorable mentions. They include The Suicide Squad, Passing, Mass, A Quiet Place Part 2, and Last Night in Soho. Very good movies.
Great start.
People should go check them out.
That was my 1, 2, 3, 4. How'd you know? No, I'm kidding.
Cross them off the list.
All right, what is your number 10? Or do you want me to do my honorable mentions?
No, I can do my number 10 now. My number 10 is the Apple movie Coda. It's a story about a young girl who has to kind of grow up early because she is surrounded by deaf family members and she's the only girl who can hear. But what just made me love this movie was just how charming it was. The chemistry between the family is terrific. The actress, I'm unfortunately spacing her name off the top of my head, but she's really phenomenal in the movie. She does an incredible job.
Amelia Jones.
Thank you, Amelia Jones. I knew it started with an E at least. But it just, it perks up your spirits. It makes you feel happy. It's a feel-good movie, but also it's not afraid to shed light on topics of, families who are, the majority of them are deaf. And it just was a really well-told story for that matter. And it just was one of the more feel-good movies of the year. And I had to put it on the list because of that.
Yeah, for me, my kind of honorable mentions go out to West Side Story is an honorable mention for me. Let's see here. That's pretty much it. Oh, Nobody's the one, and Raya the Last Dragon. Those are two honorable mentions I really wanted to make sure I touched on. That I really, really liked. And to be honest, for my girl too, Halsey, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Powers movie on HBO was absolutely incredible. Music's fantastic. Song, album, great. So I'm going to toss that out there. Loved the movie. I've seen it twice. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Those are my honorable mentions. My number 10, because I didn't see movies like Coda, because Apple Plus has the worst streaming platform by a long mile. It's horrible. I honestly didn't even hear about it. There are a couple other Apple movies, that came out this year, like Cherry and things like that, that I want to check out. But for me, I'm going with the big kahunas fighting it out. Godzilla versus King Kong all the way. You think I'm forgetting that? I don't care. I don't care if you're screaming right now. I love monsters killing people and destroying cities. And you know what that movie was? It was two monsters fighting each other while they're destroying cities and killing people. So I'm all in. I'm all here for it. I had a blast with Godzilla versus Kong. Let's have a little fun here. So I'm going to go with that. Kyle, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Dune. It was a great theatrical experience. Denis Villeneuve was awesome. I knew this was going to be his reaction. I knew this was going to be his reaction. But anyway, Denis Villeneuve, he killed it with this movie. It was just so cinematic, and despite the story being pretty dense, I still was able to follow through it well, and I still had a great time with it. All the acting was great. The sci-fi aspects of the movie were so much fun to watch, and I just can't wait to see how the rest of this franchise works out.
Your list sucks. It's 2021. I'm not being polite.
Not an indie though.
I I have no words. Wait till Annie Essays, my brother. Go check Annie Essays out. He does great anime stuff. Wait till he hears this. Wait.
Yeah.
I
promise you'll like some
no,
parts of my list.
no, I hate
You
the
will
rest
like-
of your list.
yeah,
I
you
hate
will
it
like
all.
I promise you.
I hate it all. My
Doesn't
number
matter.
9. I had to go get some water just to calm down here. My number 9 is A Quiet Place 2. I really enjoyed it. I liked it more than some of the, there were a couple indie movies I thought about picking that I have seen, Last Night in Soho, not an indie movie, kind of, but, movies like that, Pig, things like that, just didn't do it as well for me. So I was like, you know what, let's go with a little bit of horror. Quiet Place 2, I thought was a great sequel. Cillian Murphy did a great job as a new addition. So I'm going with that. I thought it was just as good, if not better than the original.
Yeah, totally.
Kyle, what do you have at number 8?
Number 8 for me is Nobody. This movie is a blast.
Yeah, it's
like I had a great
The fact that it's over Dune is horrible, and I don't care if I'm interrupting you. That is atrocious. Atrocious. Stop.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is a lot of fun in this movie. It's able to, tell a relatable story, but also not take itself too seriously. And the action was just a blast. I was laughing the hardest, probably of the majority of movies I've seen this year, and it's a blast. Like, I just had a great time with it.
I don't want to do this anymore. My number 8 was Stillwater. It was the Matt Damon movie. And it's excellent. And I think Matt Damon should be in the conversation for Best Actor still. It came out a little early, but it's an excellent movie. It kind of had me on the edge of my seat at times. It had me wanting to tear up and cry at times. It's a great movie. The actress, can't remember her name, who plays his daughter, does a great job. It's based on a true story, which is just heartbreaking. I really liked it. So I'm going to go with Stillwater at, what are we doing? Number 8. That's what I just said. Yeah. Number 8.
Yep.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 is The Green Knight, a really atmospheric movie, both having the aspects of magic and fantasy, but it's also interwoven with like a grim, dark despair to it. And it tells a more human story than I think you would probably initially think it would going into it. I think Dev Patel certainly deserves a chance for even an Oscar nomination, but I think it's going to be an oversight, which it's okay. At least I saw it. At least I know it's a fantastic performance by his. It's a very subdued movie, but it's not for everyone's taste. But I don't know. It worked for me in the right ways. I thought that it was just a very interesting movie, and it was a very good watch.
Yeah, my number 7 is The Green Knight. We always have one. We always have one. The Green Knight is not for everybody. In fact, I'd take that harsher. It really is not for everybody. It is artsy fartsy. Usually the artsy fartsy I hate. It's sometimes, a movie like Lamb that came out this year to me was artsy fartsy in the way I don't like. This was artsy fartsy in the way I do like. I thought it worked. It's got some really good, it's really a character piece. There's barely any action. It's a really interesting take on a fairy tale, and this myth and this legend of this knight that people don't listen to as much. He was a nephew of King Arthur's, I believe. So I loved The Green Knight. I thought it was great. It has stuck with me ever since I saw it. And I mean, we saw it in the summer. Is that when it came out? Like, it's been a minute. Yeah. So highly recommend that. Really enjoyed it. Kyle, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Spencer. Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana.
Didn't see it.
Is incredible in this role. Like, easily one of the best performances I've seen this year. But the movie is kind of, it's not exactly similar to The Green Knight at all, in fact, but it's atmospheric like The Green Knight was, in that with Princess Diana and where the story takes place and the time that it takes place when it came to her marriage and dealing with the royal family. It's very atmospheric in the way that you feel just as claustrophobic and as driven with anxiety as she did, or at least as what this movie interprets that what could have happened inside the castle walls. But like I said, Kristen Stewart does a really great job in this movie. It's also a beautifully shot movie, despite, kind of the sadness that, really is hung over this movie. But it just really, I wasn't sure coming out how much I enjoyed the movie, but it's one that I keep thinking about and sticks with me. And if a movie is able to do that and I'm still thinking about it, then I think that's why it's on this list. So very, very good movie.
I didn't see it. And you know why I didn't see it? No, I actually wanted to see it, but I am a little mad because that's the same stuff that I said about Jackie when that movie came out. Same type of role, same director, and Kyle threw a big stink to me back then. I'm not seeing Jackie. The movie looks bad. I don't want to see that. I'm blah 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 blah. And I went, so I was like, this is really good.
Time for Kyle.
So I didn't see it to get back at you, is what I did. That's not true because I didn't get a chance because I'm not like that. But I wanted to bring that up because Jackie is a very good movie, and it is very good for probably the same reasons Kyle just said about Spencer. And he didn't see Jackie, threw a big stink to me about it. So my number 6, is that where we're at?
Yep.
My number 6 is Shang-Chi, baby. Shang-Chi slaps. The martial arts is incredible. You know, I just finished HBO's Warrior. And you know, I'm looking at these. I mean, those are some of the best martial arts fights I've ever seen. And Shang-Chi competes. It's got some great martial arts. It's a great story, connects just enough, but you know, tells its own personal tale. It was one of the funniest Marvel movies I've seen in a while, which made me happy because I was starting to get tired of Marvel humor. And it helped bring it back. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. So I have Shang-Chi at number 6. Oh, here we go. Top 5. Here we go. Oh God,
getting down to it.
I already hate your list quite a bit.
You might hate it even more after this.
Do I respect you and your opinions? Absolutely, I do. I also hate you. Kyle, what's your number 5?
My number 5 was West Side Story. I was not anticipating at all how much I was going to enjoy this movie, and Alex is laughing because I've been annoying him and our friends to go see it during the time where Spider-Man was what everyone was talking about. And
Kyle doesn't like Spider-Man as much because he was so mad nobody likes West Side Story. We talked about Spider-Man over it. We did what the internet has been doing to Kyle for months. We did it to him. And so he hated Spider-Man. He doesn't hate Spider-Man. I'm just messing. No, West Side Story is great. It's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, yes, it is. But it's my number 5, Spielberg. I haven't very much enjoyed like the past few movies that he's made. Like he's still obviously a very good director, but just nothing has really resonated with me over the last few years. But this does, and I think he elevates the material from the original movie over to here, and he might even have done stuff even better as compared to the original. It still is magical in the way that this Romeo and Juliet romance was supposed to be played out, but he also made it a bit more realistic, so that way the rivalry aspects between the two gangs doesn't come across as goofy as it probably did in the original. But he still was able to kill it, and it's amazing that he hasn't made it a musical before this because it felt effortlessly to him as I was watching. So I just was moved away, or I was blown away, and I was moved by how well that he made this movie and how engaged I was. So that's my number 5.
So you had seen the original, correct?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything West Side Story ever. I went in blind. I didn't even know what this story on the West Side was about. And I thought it was good. There are parts of that musical that are very dated that did not sit well with me. Some of the romance and the way it's handled is gross. It's not a Spielberg fault. It's just the original story. But I thought that movie is as good as it is because of Spielberg, which is why I did like it as much as I did. But the writing elements and the story just didn't work enough for me to make it into my top 10. But Spielberg, I liked The Post. I liked Bridge of Spies enough. I enjoyed Ready Player One quite a bit more than others, but Spielberg is a masterpiece, or he is a master. He's my favorite director ever. And that movie is good and that good because of him. He could have had a little less lens flares. You're hanging out with JJ a little bit too much lately, but the movie is good. I liked. I'm doing a little review here if you couldn't tell, because I didn't get my thoughts out on it because I saw it so late. But it bringing one of the old actresses back was great.
Leland Moreno,
And
yeah.
but outside, some of the stuff just doesn't work. It's dated a little bit. But Spielberg can do it all. He can do everything but a slapstick comedy. He's only tried once and it didn't work. But he literally is the master. He's the master. He can do anything.
Yeah.
The movie's pretty good. It's not top 5 of the year good, Kyle, especially over Dune. Stop. But I do love Spielberg. Anyway, my number 5. I put here 5 because when I sat down, I said, what were some of my favorite theater experiences this year? And one of them was a little, kind of in between movie, bigger budget than indie, but not quite at a massive success. But this movie is unique, it's creative, and that is Malignant. Malignant slaps. That movie is so fun. Great. It's so creative. It's so unique. And it had to have a place here for me because I have thought about it for months since I've seen it. I saw it with one of our dear friends, and I had an absolute blast watching that movie with him. That movie keeps you on your toes. It's twists on right. Think about that, M. Night Shyamalan, with that old movie you came out with. But the twists were done right. It is such a unique horror movie and a unique take, and I had so much fun watching it. So my number 5 is going to Malignant. It deserves to be in the top 10 for me, and for me, it landed at number 5. So Kyle, what's number 4 in your disappointment list of 2021?
Well, my number 4 is In the Heights. Easily one of the most fun movies I've had this year. You could go back at our review. We couldn't stop talking about this movie. That video was so long. I'm so sorry, everyone. But, it's the type of movie that more people should have seen because we needed some fun. We needed some entertainment. We needed some music and dancing and smiling. And really, that's what In the Heights was able to do for me. So that's why I have to put up this high. I'm still thinking about the movie. I still enjoy the songs. And you know what? It just made me happy during that summer time, and it was a great theater experience for me. So there you go.
I don't know if this has ever happened in the history of movie meals. We have 2 match. My number 4 is In the Heights.
Nice.
In the Heights is West Side Story done better. In the Heights is West Side Story done better. When I left, that's what I thought. I said, Lynn, it is about different, In the Heights, our main character is from Puerto Rico. He's from different area, but it is similar. There's not a gang war, but there is kind of, the same type of, our block is dying. People are moving in. We're losing our culture and what we came to America for. And In the Heights is, literally the second West Side Story ended. My thought was In the Heights is a much better version of this. And I liked West Side Story a lot, which shows how great In the Heights is. I am still listening to the music. The music was on my Spotify playlist, like top 1% of the country or world. I was listening to it so much. The songs are unique. The dancing was awesome. The direction was great. The story kind of wavered a little bit in the middle, but it did stick the landing hard. It was directed great. Lynn did a great job writing it. In the Heights is fun. To me, it has kind of become summer. Like I was sitting here being like, I want to rewatch it. And I was like, well, it's the middle of winter. Let me wait till May. And in May, it'll hype me up for the summer that's about to come. And it's so good. It was hard not to put it in the top 3. It was really hard. There were 4 movie musicals this year, and I could not have this one in there. It was one of the best of the 4, and I absolutely adored this movie. All right. Oh, whew. I already don't like your list. So we're at the top 3. So Kyle, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Tick, Tick, Boom, another musical.
Wow.
And it's number 3 because of Andrew Garfield. He is awesome in this movie. Was one of my favorite performances, and part of that was because
spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with another movie. Might have to cut that one out. I even heard you and I zoned out. I'm so mad at your list. Keep going.
Amazing. But you can tell that he's enjoying being in this role. And that was really infectious to me. Plus, I think Manuel's directing, his first time directing a feature film, I thought it was pretty impressive. I thought it was a really great job of handling almost like one narrative, but it was kind of flashing around into like three different ways of telling the narrative. But I thought it was very creative, and the point of the movie really struck home for me. I think it really did justice to the man that they were portraying. Unfortunately, I'm spacing on his name, so it sounds like I'm not really meaning it, but it just really blew me away by how much I enjoyed this movie. And Andrew Garfield and Lin-Manuel Miranda were the main reasons for doing so.
You mean Jonathan Larson?
Thank you. Yes, I could not think of the name for the life of me.
Um, my number 3 is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home is it's one of the best Marvel movies. It deserves to be in your top 10 Marvel list. I will fight you on that one. To me, it's up there. It is so fun, so unique, so entertaining, so funny, heartbreaking. It's one of the harder movies, I think, to watch of Marvel, of making you tear up and things like that. Spider-Man: No Way Home is awesome. I have yet to see it again. I have been trying desperately to go see it again, to the point where I'm willing to not go see other movies I want to see that I knew would make these lists. But I loved Spider-Man: No Way Home. It belongs in the top 3, but didn't quite make the top 2. Kyle, who you got at number 2?
Number 2 for me is The Mitchells versus the Machines. It is a terrific. It is a terrific animated movie.
But it's not.
It has so much heart, so much passion. You can just tell that this animation style just works. You can tell that these creators of this movie were able to just go all out and have fun, and you can be along for the ride with it. A really relatable story about family, but at the same time, it's surrounded by a goofy element of trying to save the world from robots. But I just was smiling from ear to ear the whole time. And even though it came out in like, I don't know, April or something, it still was the movie I look back on and appreciate the most of. Plus, on top of that, I think that it does a really good job at highlighting artistic creativity and to follow your passions and your dreams. And it just really struck a chord for me, especially as someone who grew up, appreciating drawing and art and got a degree in design. So for all those reasons, most of them probably a bit too personal, but it really had to be at this spot for me.
I love Mitchell's vs. Machine. I've seen it 3 times because I teach children and I put it on because I want to enjoy what we're watching. But man, I don't think I've ever felt so strongly that they're so. Oh, I've never had such a disagreement with you ever. That is so high. That is too high, Kyle. How many times have you seen it?
Only once, because I don't have kids.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My number 2 was tough not to put it at number 1. It was really tough. I went back and forth, but my number 2 is Tick Tick Boom. I love Tick Tick Boom. I've been listening to the soundtrack, specifically the opening number, on repeat. I think it is Andrew Garfield's best performance by a wide margin, and he has delivered some insane performances with Social Network and Hacksaw Ridge. He is a talent. Lin-Manuel Miranda, in his first directorial debut for a movie, destroyed it. I mean, knocked it out of the park, where it is so good that it honestly, truly deserves. He deserves so much recognition, because we talk about other people like Denis Villeneuve, who had this awesome first movie with Enemy that kind of made the big wave, and then Prisoners. And I think we need, I don't think Lynn's going to go on to be this incredibly famed director like maybe Denis, but to not think of him in this kind of newer wave of directors, I think now is unfair. And that shows how good one movie is. Let me see what you can do a second time, do it twice, but still that Tick Tick Boom is that freaking good. I wish I'd seen it in the movie theater. It's so good. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to know your number 1. I don't want to know. And I know what it is, but I don't want to know.
That hurts.
Just kidding. Kyle, go ahead. Are we saying them at the same time? That's what we've done in the past.
Sure, let's do it.
Or are we supposed to guess each other? Should we guess each other's?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it that way.
Should be pretty easy. All right. 3, 2.
Wait, are we guessing? Sorry, you started counting down, so we're guessing, right? Yes.
I said yeah. You guess
Okay.
mine, and I'll guess
Okay.
yours.
The
So you
countdown
say
threw me off.
you say what you think mine is, and I'll say what I
Yep.
know yours is, and I bet you get mine right. So
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Spider-Man.
Dune.
Yep. Did I get
But
mine?
not
You're right.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is
not
not even in your
Spider-Man.
top 10 of the year.
Nope. Nope. I'm not. This is not a bid either. Spider-Man did not make my top 10.
Okay, what's your number one?
My number one is Pig, a truly underrated movie. It's underrated, man. It's so good. It's definitely not a concept that people would really assume going in. People were kind of thinking it's John Wick, but instead of a dog, it's a pig. But it's really not an action movie at all. It's a very subdued character piece. But despite what we think about Nicolas Cage now, he really delivers one heck of a performance. Like easily one of my favorites of the year. It does a great job at just exploring this really beaten down and broken character who left where he was living and he was out in the woods for a while, but has to come back in order to find his pig in order to kind of have that emotional stability again. But it's just a really good exploration of this character and just the creativity with the cinematography, with the storytelling. It just really blew me away and just really left me in a place that I just couldn't help but keep thinking about this movie through and through. So it easily became my number one.
Never in a million years. I saw Pig a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Loved it. Loved it. I mean, I probably should have put it over things like Godzilla versus Kong, but I wanted to be goofy at number 10. But it's I've never disagreed with you harder. The last 2 months, you and I have disagreed so much on movies. I think the last 3 years we have the same number one movie of the year. My number one movie is
You missed
Dune.
those good old days.
My number one movie of the year is Dune because Dune is the best movie of the year for me. It is so freaking good. Denis Villeneuve brought a masterclass of action, character, drama, cinematography, the script. Everything about Dune works from start to finish. It is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. It's an all-time movie. I absolutely adore Dune. I read the book right after seeing it, and it just made the movie so much better. I can't wait for the sequel. I don't care if Dune made barely any money or no money at all. I'm glad they're doing a sequel. Denis is a master. He really is the closest thing we have to a Spielberg, I think, of this young wave of people. I went from Timothée Chalamet does the same thing to, all right, Timothy really has shown me something different and better. And I think it's his best performance. I think it might be Rebecca Ferguson's best performance. Jason Momoa's incredible in it. I mean, Oscar Isaac's awesome in it. It is such a good movie. It is easily the number one of the, well, not easily because Tick Tick Boom was close. That's fair. Yeah, that's my number one. Guys, drop your list down below. Let us know what you thought. This is an interesting one. We're going to talk about this for a while. I just don't see eye to eye with you this year. I've seen those movies in your top three, and I'm just shocked. I'm curious.
At least be happy about Tick Tick Boom.
It was a 3.
Yeah.
Behind the Mitchell versus the Machines.
Another great movie.
I just can't with you.
You need a nap after this.
I do. All right, guys. Drop all that down in the comments below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Go. Thank you to Movie Meal patrons. I can't even talk. Thank you to Movie Meal patrons. Go get some Movie Meal merch. I'll link down in the description. Leave some comments. Like, subscribe, share. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.